So here's what I've done so far is I've cleared out all the weeds. I buried them to kind of create kind of a hugelkultur bed here, slash also to get them out of the way. And then I've created mounds, 5 of them here, here, and here. I'm trying to create a Three Sisters style garden here with all 3 elements. I want to have corn, and then after a couple weeks when the corn have started to sprout, when they're about this high, you plant the beans, and the beans start following the corn and twining up. And then you also plant squash and the in-between places between to kind of create a full-fledged carpet and slash raccoon repellent around the corn. And for the corn, I've got the coolest thing. This is gem corn, glass gem corn, and it is the coolest thing. When these ears are fully ripe, they have all of these vibrant colors in the seeds. It's incredible. I don't think that it does it justice seeing it here in a dried out sack, but I'm really excited to see if this thing will produce. Unfortunately, I also planted a bunch of red corn right along here in the other garden, and they might cross-pollinate, but I'm impatient and I'm going to plant them anyway, and maybe we'll get some really interesting combinations along the border. That'll be fun. So we recently moved, and this is really one of the big reasons why. We were stuck in a little apartment, and I say stuck because I didn't have dirt. I can't describe to you how much I needed dirt. And this little patch of next to a parking lot is that dirt that I needed. This is cool. I'm going to grow food, and I'm going to eat it, and it'll be food that I grew. This is the seeds of independence. I'm learning how to garden, I'm learning how to grow food, and I'm living the life. This is good. And it's really basic too, so I guess it's good and basic.
Look at you, buddy boy.
Funny thing about Joseph Fisher, he hates tomatoes. My wife and I can't understand it. Fortunately, this is my garden and not his, and that's one of the things that's cool about gardening is total customizability. If you don't eat it, I recommend you don't grow it. On the other hand, if you grow it, you might want to learn how to eat it.
Beef steak today, ox heart tomorrow. Is it horrible that I am very suspicious of this whole you just put seeds in the ground and food comes out?
Seems too good to be true, doesn't it?
Just makes me nervous. You don't put dollars in the ground and dollars come out.
But seeds do! And the crazy thing about the yield, so one potato, you put a potato in the ground, you get like 20 back. You put a seed of wheat in the ground, you get like 100 back. Where else do you find those kind of returns? The ROI in farming is insane. Of course, the risk is also pretty high, which is why you want to grow more than one thing. Now, if one of the things dies, the rest of them are fine. But if you decide to grow just one thing, on a good year, you will make insane amounts of money. Farmers are the biggest gamblers I know.
Good job, dude. You go water? It's a heavy jug, huh? Oh, look, you watered the dirt. Nice work.
So the garden behind me is starting to come in. The corn has sprouted and it's now about 6 inches tall. So it's time to add the beans and the corn. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go into the piles here where the corn is, and I'm going to add beans among the corn, probably about 4 per pile. And then I'm going to add squash plants in between the piles. And they'll act as a nice ground cover to cover everything up, keep the weeds down, and provide some squash in the wasted space between the mounds. So a lot of my carrots didn't sprout, but I just barely pulled one out, and it's gorgeous. We're gonna eat this and see if it's any good. Are you excited to try the carrot? Give it a go. What do you think? Is it as good as the store ones? Is it better? What do you think?
I think it's good.
Good. I think it's good, pretty good too.
Yeah.
Here we have 2 purple carrots. This is so cool. One of the things that I love about home gardening is that if you grow things yourself, you can grow the things that you will not find in the grocery store. Like purple carrots. How cool is that? I don't know what they taste like yet. I'm going to go inside and find out with the kids, but the way I've been removing them is with the hose. I spray with the very concentrated beam right alongside the carrot and kind of just wiggle it out, and that seems to work pretty well. Purple carrots. Get this! They're orange on the inside! Okay, so this row here on the right is my potatoes. This plant is doing mostly okay, or at least it was. Unfortunately, the other plants have gotten blight, and it appears that this one has too. This one has some kind of weird leaf curl, no idea what's causing that. And this plant looks relatively healthy, but under here it's caught the blight, which has already ravaged these ones. I've been cutting off the stems and leaves that are obviously blight-ridden. With these nasty little black spots, they eventually turn yellow and then the whole plant goes dead. It affects the tubers as well. I'm going to try digging them up now and see if I can't recover anything good from these. Not quite the harvest I was anticipating, but at least we did get some potatoes. Gosh, that's cool. That's the whole yield. We'll see if it makes a decent meal. I'm out here watering my garden, and I'm struck by how cathartic it is. It's really nice. A little stressful at times, you know, trying to keep them alive, but it's really, really, really nice to be watering every day. Grow tall, guys. If I were to do it again, I would definitely make these hills smaller. And the reason why I would do that is because I live in the desert. Now, the reason you would want hills like this is for drainage. Drainage isn't a huge problem where I live because the water never sticks around long enough to cause the roots to rot. But keeping on enough water to not let the plants die is a problem. And with increased drainage, that has become even more difficult. In other words, it's really, really hard to keep this garden watered. Also, with how sandy the soil is, the steepness of my hills has been a problem for watering as well. When I water them, it's caused erosion that I've had to patch, and if that erosion got all the way to the top, then my plants would fall over. So it's caused a little bit of a maintenance problem. If I were to do this again, I love this little well in the middle, where I can water them. What I would do is I would dig a hole and then plant the corn around the holes, and then still plant in the same style of grid, just not raised off the ground. And I think that might work a little bit better. The second thing, also related to water, that I've noticed is that my beans have done terribly. Most of them are dead, like this guy. 1 or 2 are doing all right, and they tend to be in the shady spots. And so what I think is going on is that they're just having a really hard time with the crazy heat that we've had, and also they're having a hard time getting enough water. I've not been terribly impressed with the hardiness of beans. So what I think I'll do is I'll plant peas around here, which don't take all that long to mature, and they have the advantage of being extremely tasty. And so maybe I'll get peas. Now in late July, the corn was planted in late April, so that makes it 4 months that it's been growing. It's already starting to tassel over there. That was planted a little earlier, actually by accident. I gave my daughter a handful of seeds to play with in the garden back when it was just a sandbox. And she did. She planted it. And then, lo and behold, it came and sprouted a few weeks later. The one I'm most excited about by far is how the cantaloupe is doing. Planted 3 mounds, one of which you can see right there. And it did not sprout really hardly at all. And then this one did really well. It was getting the most sunshine. This one, I think one of them sprouted. And then what I did is transplanted a couple of the plants from here into this spot and that spot respectively. Only one of them has made it. The tomatoes are volunteer. They came up from someone else's garden from a year or 2 ago. The corn patch is doing fairly well. The volcano system is continuing to work if and only if I water it multiple times a day. Right here we've got the spike of a new corn ear that's just getting started. The corn has been tasseling nicely. Here we've got the silk of a slightly more developed ear, an even more slightly developed ear. And if we head all the way over to here, we can see some ears taking their proper shape. So in all, it's pretty exciting. It is now the end of August, almost September, and these corn plants went in late April. So they've taken a good long while. The squash plants have not done all that great. The squash plants have not done all that great. They have, this one's kind of hanging on. These ones not so much. This is the only one of the bean plants that I think is really kind of making a go for it. The rest of them have perished. So we've learned a few things about what does not like high temperatures. The corn patch is coming along beautifully, and some of these particular stalks have become insanely ambitious. Here's one with 3, and here is one overambitious sole with 4. There's one sticking out, one with silk on top, one with silk on the left, another one right here with the extra bit of silk coming out. Oh, and another one here. Is that 5? Wow. I don't know that that's going to turn out well for that particular plant. And what's interesting is some of these really small ones, like this guy, are still trying to produce ears. And then the older ones are turning purple, so I guess that's the sign that they're getting ready to die. Guys, I am freaking out. I just picked the first ear of glass gem corn, and just look at these colors. That's amazing. Home gardening, totally worth it, mostly because it's awesome, and also because one of the reasons why it's awesome is because you can grow things that you just can't find at a grocery store. This is an heirloom seed. It's a crossbreed of a bunch of heirloom Indian varieties of corn. And I mean, this is rare stuff. It's hard to buy, but it's relatively easy to grow. So if you want some, that's yet another reason to try home gardening. Ah!
Purple corn.
Wow, what do you think?
I think I planted it. Good.
Isn't that exciting?
Can I see the video you did? That is so cute.
Isn't it amazing?
Yeah.
Look at that.
I grown that corn.
You did, little farmer girl.
I'm gonna be a good farmer girl once I grow up.
Awesome.
Yeah. Here.
Proud of you, little one. So we've had a killing frost, and now the corn, which has been ripening for over 4 months, is ready to be harvested. Or at least I hope it is. So let's get to it.
I want to get this one.
Okay.
I pulled off a corn.
Ta-da! Hey, what you doing, Bubs? Oh, corn? You're gonna get corn?
We're showing evidence of having water stress.
Look.
That's awesome. Look at that.
I'll go put the corn.
Thanks. Good.
I tasted it and it feels like apple juice.
That's terrible.
Oh, look at that color.
Let
Wow.
me see. Whoa!
That's
That's gorgeous.
We got one.
Oh,
Couple of split grains, but that's really, really cool.
Dad! Look at this!
are you eating all the corn?
This is a new one.
That one is? Can I see? Can you hold it up for me?
Don't eat the
Wow. Hold it still so I can see.
It's
Wow.
so amazing. Like, you can eat it once it's ripe. Now, we have to make this yummy so we can eat it. Dad, why are
You have high hopes?
I have high hopes for this one.
Let's see how she came.
Okay.
High hopes, high hopes. And a little underripe, but pretty.
Wow. Man, that glass gem is just so gorgeous.
It's a pretty, pretty corn. Gosh, look at that one. It's like peach colored.
Wow.
Gosh.
That's beautiful. Hide it from the baby. Hi, little corn thief. Did you steal the corn?
No.
Nom, 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 nom. Nice.
This is that overambitious plant that was producing 5, count them, 5 cobs of corn. I don't have high hopes that they're right. There's one. Here's 2. Here's 3. And I think 4 and 5 are going to be about the same.
Way to be overachiever.
Sometimes it's better to focus on just 1 or 2 things done right than 5 or 6 done badly. Ho 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 ho!
Oh, look how pretty that is.
Oh no, 1 or 2 of them sprouted. See, this is why we needed to harvest them. The rain was starting to make me nervous. Apparently for good reason.
I love the colors. Those reds and blues.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are sprouting. And I think that's all of it. Total yield, probably about 4 really good ones.
Let's go look.
Look at that. Greens and pinks and yellows.
What do you think?
I think it's pretty cool. What do you think?
Do you think we should eat it?
Yes, but not right now.
I
Let's
don't know.
wash
The
it.
baby's making a break for it again.
Yep.
He's our little cob stealer.
Yeah.
I think he's gotten, I can't tell, but I think he's gotten 2 or 3.
I'd say upwards of 4 or 5.
Really? He's even dropping them as he goes.
Yep. 1 bite and then run, just like
That's
apples.
stinker. The corn cob stealer is trying to negotiate.
No.
You've had a whole 4 already.
Keep going, my little hobbit. Excuse me.
Oh, I know, dude. We'll get you some corn, bub. Yeah, that's Daddy's corn. We'll get you more. Ta-da!
1 really good one and a bunch of okay.
Jump. Mama, Dad. Dad. Dad.
So, not tons, but some, and a whole lot of knowledge for next year.
Hey, you know, for community garden, I'd say that it came out all right.
Yeah, we got a couple that looked really, really good.
They were gorgeous.
Was more than half the goal in my mind. Oh look, this one has one little girdle
I want to eat.
of color.
Ta-da!
Ta-dee.